nice stadium seats. We're the best in the world. We're the best in podcasting. Yo, Gemz, let them know.
Red bottom tape, Frizz on the way. Gemz on the mic, and you know he don't play. Every seat packed, the fans go cray. Stream after stream, now what they gon' say. Frizz on the beat, Tay brings the heat. Stadium seats without Gemz ain't complete. The tailgate crazy, the fans they amaze me. Salute to all the fans that been rocking with us lately. Love.
Stadium seats. Frizz, Gemz, Tay. We the best. Stadium seats, Frizz, Gemz, and Tay. What's going on?
What's up, guys?
Yeah, Gemz.
It's Monday.
Monday evening.
Monday night.
Here at Stadium Seats. Just before we start the show, was watching the Daytona 500 that kind of got rescheduled for today at 3. It started, so yesterday it got rained out. Last lap, Ryan Newman shot up in the air after a big crash. So let's just send your thoughts and prayers to Ryan Newman and hope he's okay. Hamlin did win that race, but obviously everybody's concentrated on Newman. So make sure he's all right. Send a prayer up for him.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
right now, no update on him, but it was pretty bad. So we're hoping for the best, hoping it's not too bad.
Yeah, gotta pray, man. Gotta pray.
Got to pray for him. We never want to see injuries or anything in sports or anything like that. So shout out to Ryan Newman and his family here at Stadium Seats. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Monday.
It sure is. It doesn't feel like a Monday, but it is.
Happy President's Day.
Absolutely. That's why it doesn't feel like a Monday. Because a lot of us didn't work today.
Right? I didn't.
I didn't.
Did you work, Gemz?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Oh.
All right, you're real talkative tonight. That's good.
Because he's not a president. That's why.
I'm not a president.
Who's your favorite president, Tana? Tay?
My favorite president? Yeah. I don't know. I really like Bush, George Bush.
Kind of like Clinton. How about you, Gemz?
I go.
I also
Barack
like
on
Reagan.
Barack, yeah. Well,
I also like Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Shout out to President's Day. What's up, President's Day?
Shout out to all the presidents.
All right, let's get into our show a little bit tonight. We're going to talk about some different things tonight. We're going to talk about Tiger Woods, okay, a little bit.
Okay.
About how he finished dead last this weekend. Okay. Kind of odd for him, right?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the NCAA basketball going on here. We're going to talk a little bit about our bubble teams and who we should be watching in the rankings. Okay, and we're also going to talk about maybe a little bit of recap of the XFL.
Okay.
And anything else you guys want to shout out, let's just shout it out. And also, before the end of the show, we're going to talk about our city spotlight. Okay, and tonight's city spotlight is Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay, well, I'm excited about that. I can't contribute much as I've only visited twice, but I know you two guys are from there, so bring it on. I want to hear it.
There's a lot of love out of Pittsburgh in the city. We'll get to that, but there's a lot of things to talk about, a lot of great things coming out the city of Pittsburgh, so salute.
Absolutely. So, Gemz, let's start it off. Tiger Woods. Tay, Tiger Woods, here we go. Gemz, let me ask you a question. Tiger Woods, do you think he's done?
Do I think he's done?
Yeah. Do you think he's ever going to win another Open or anything like that, or do you think this is just like one of the down things of his career?
Well, this isn't really a bright spot. This isn't one of his brightest moments of his career, but things happen. He is human. He didn't have a good tournament. He finished last, but I don't think that this is the end of his career. A lot of people were saying that a couple years ago. Would he be able to bounce back, from his mental state of what he went through, and then his back injury, getting surgery after surgery, injuries kind of like hindered him from playing the way we're used to seeing him play. But I just think he just had a bad tournament, and that happens. And I think he's going to bounce back. He just did win the Masters in 2019. Am I correct? So a lot of people wasn't saying nothing when he won that, but he just had a bad. He had a bad tournament, and I think that he's going to fix a lot of things. He's going to take the next couple weeks off. I know that he was down in his weight, and I know that he didn't like that, and I think it was affecting his swing, and I think it affected it a lot. I'm not making any excuses for him, but he was down in his weight, and he's used to playing up in his weight. So that could affect his swing. So I think he's going to get back in the gym, start lifting a little bit, put on some more weight, and get back to it. It's a grind. I mean, he's not that old at all. He has a
Right.
long way to go. So shout out to Tiger Woods. He's a guy that opened up my eyes into watching more and more golf. What he's done to the game. So I'm not gonna talk bad about Tiger Woods. He had a bad tournament. That's it. We're all human. We all have bad times. So
Yeah, don't get it wrong that golf is a growing sport. Like, you might not think so, but you're using a lot of your body when you're golfing. You're using a lot of your core, your back, your shoulders, your arm. I mean, it's everything. Your legs. You do a lot of walking,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not as easy as people may perceive the sport to be, is what I'm saying. Now, to golf is, I mean, you got to be great at your craft to be a pro golfer. But I'm just talking. You made some good points there about the body got to be 100%. I mean, it just it takes a toll on you, especially those guys golf every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Every 4 days a week they're golfing.
Mm-hmm.
They're traveling, Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever, but they're golfing 4 days a week. What do you got, Tay?
Well, just to resonate a little bit about what Gemz said, his weight was off, and he feels, read a report that he feels that this was one of the biggest contributing factors to him not performing very well. I mean, if you look at his stats for that tournament, he started off okay. He started off pretty good, and then it just, didn't go his way there towards the end, and he finished dead last. But I wouldn't count him out just yet. I mean, he's got a lot of fuel in him. So,
He's 44 years old, so he's young.
Yeah, historically, he doesn't have great starts, but somehow he ends up being on top. So, don't count him out.
Shout out Tiger Woods. Moving on, NCAA basketball. First of all, before we get started, let's go over to the top 10, okay? Because it changed a little bit this week, and it's been changing all year. I mean, it's so unpredictable. But we're going to start digging a little bit deeper here at Stadium Seats and seeing how we can let our listeners know a little bit more about college basketball. Baylor, Gonzaga, Kansas, San Diego State, and Dayton. That's the top 5. And rounding up 6 through 10, Duke, Maryland, FSU. Here's a very, very surprising team. The Penn State Nittany Lions in 9, and the Kentucky Wildcats at 10. So the biggest jump of the week is the Penn State Nittany Lions moving up 4 spots to the top 10. I think this is their biggest ranking ever in program history because they're not known for basketball. So we're going to dive in a little bit about who we think can make a good run. So, Gemz, who do you think can make a good run in that top 10?
We're going to go by the top 10?
Yeah, in the top 10.
Okay.
Let's not make it too broad.
What if he wants to pick somebody not in the top 10?
Well, you can. If he wants to pick someone that's not even in the top 20, he can.
Yeah, well.
So, by all means, but realistically, go ahead and just explain some teams that you think, for our listeners, that you think can make a great run.
Well, if we're talking about a great run, I think that you have to look at the Pac-12.
Okay.
And just some teams, some teams that just to look out for. Oregon's been playing really, really good. I think that depending on their seeding in March, that I think they have the nucleus. I think they have the offensive drive, and they have a good defensive core where they got guys that can protect the basket. Where I think that they can make a pretty decent run depending on their seeding. You got to look at Villanova with Jay Wright and those guys out in the Big East. I tell you what, the Big East is one of the best conferences in college basketball right now. So you can't look over Jay Wright and those guys. They won championships in the past, and they're gelling as well. When you look at the top 10, it's so fickle with college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
All year long you had it's like moving chairs, right? So I'm gonna go with San Diego State. I like what San Diego State's doing. I know the conference isn't as tough as compared to the Big 12 or the Big East of that nature. The ACC kind of went downhill. Duke isn't really the same. Like Duke will win a big game, and then they'll lose a big game. I wouldn't be surprised seeing Duke lose the second round in March Madness. I would not be surprised at all. I think we're going to see a new team, so I'm going to pick an underdog here that we're not used to seeing. And I think this is going to be great for college basketball, seeing a team that the fans aren't used to. So I'm gonna go with San Diego State there, and I think that hey, don't Huggins in West Virginia, right? I'm gonna go local here.
Mm-hmm.
They got great defense. They're coached very, very well. They got shooters on the outside there. They got guys that can protect the basket, and they know how to grind the game out, and they know how to keep a game close, and they know how to blow you out when it's time to blow you out. They will not mess around with you when they play a team. Unfortunately, they lost a couple of weeks ago. That would have gave them a better seed, but I think that just happens in basketball. That's been happening all year with teams, in the top 25. But be on the lookout for West Virginia as well. I mean, we could go through the conferences if you want to. I wouldn't mind talking about that, the locks and who's going to be on the bubble, et cetera. But
Mm-hmm.
those is kind of my teams just to start out this conversation to look at.
Yeah, definitely. I think we'll do that once we get a little closer to March Madness. And you raised some really good points, Gemz. But the thing that kind of sticks out to me is the Gonzaga Bulldogs, who've been kind of 1, 2, and 3 all year long. They're 26-1. The only question ever when you're talking about Gonzaga, you're talking about their conference. It's can they get out of that conference and compete with the big dogs? And the thing about that is historically they've gotten out of that first and second round, but once they get into that, Elite Eight, Final Four, it's just they're missing something. So my eye is definitely on the Gonzaga Bulldogs this year because, I mean, how can you not at 26-1? Am I correct?
You're
And
right.
then you already mentioned San Diego State, who I think is one of the best teams in the nation. They haven't lost yet. They're 26-0. And, another thing is the Kentucky Wildcats. I can never count out Kentucky because of a couple reasons. Number one, because, who their coach is, who they get talent from every year, the McDonald All-Americans and everything like that. They always find a way to make a huge run, especially in the tournament.
Can we trust?
Definitely.
Can we trust Kentucky though? Can you trust
No,
them?
I don't think you can ever because of their young, and but they bounce back a little bit. They're 20-5. They do play in the SEC, who's got some big time hitters in that league. But I'm going to tell you what, don't be surprised if they make a little bit of a deep run in the Louisville Cardinal. I love the way they play. They're super explosive.
Mm-hmm.
They got great offense, and I definitely think that they can make a little bit of a run too, even though they fell, you know, from number 5 all the way down to 13.
Yeah, I got to give a
But
shout out to Seton Hall too. We're overlooking Seton Hall is a lock out of the Big East. I know I was talking about Villanova because I like the way Villanova's been playing over the last month or so. But Seton Hall, I'm telling you what, they're a lock in the Big East. Watch out for them boys. They
yeah,
can
definitely.
play. They could play. I like watching them. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. So, a little bit of our college basketball roundup. Tay, do you like watching the March Madness tournament?
You know what? I don't really get into basketball. I do have to admit, I do like filling in
The bracket?
the tournament brackets, just for a wager.
I think
Is that bad?
I think you did pretty well last year, not
I
knowing too much.
did, and I really have no method to my picks. I'll admit I'm not very savvy with college hoops, but I don't know. I go by my instinct and I go by their name, the college name, and their colors. I knew you would get a laugh out of that, but it's true, and I always do really good.
Hey, Gemz, did you get your bracket busted pretty quick last year, or were you kind of
No,
in the running till the end?
no. It was probably destroyed. Probably by the second round. Yeah. And so hopefully I'll have a better chance this year due to the fact that, again, it's so fickle this year. You just never know. So you might just get fortunate in just picking the right team. But you're gonna have to study up this year when you do the brackets because a lot of these teams aren't really known, right? A lot of people, if you're outside of the region, you don't really know much about these teams. So you're gonna have to study, do your research before you pick a team so it makes sense to you, instead of just guessing. Because those people that just guess, like they'll get lucky here every now and then. But the people that really win, they know the game. They know what's going on. They know the matchups and stuff like that. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
absolutely. So we'll see what happens there. Hey, let's move on to our next topic. The XFL recap from yesterday.
Oh, the Houston, what do they call the Roughnecks?
Yes,
Renegades? Roughnecks. They did pretty good.
they did. They won 28-24. They beat St. Louis. And I definitely want to tell you something right now, Gemz. And it's about their quarterback. Okay. PJ Walker. I think he's a good one. All right. He spent some time on the practice squad. I didn't know this with the Indianapolis Colts behind Andrew Luck. So I do think that's why this guy might be pretty decent. He did learn a lot of football from one of the greats. I think he was one of the greats at least that retired pretty early in his career. But his numbers weren't too big on yards. Okay, he only threw for 170, but he was 20 for 31. Okay, with 3 TDs. I don't know if you saw the throw that he made. When he rolled out to the right, the sidearm throw he made for the touchdown. I thought that was pretty impressive. Reminded me of Pat Mahomes.
Yeah. Some of the throws, on the run, the way he's delivering the ball, it does look like, or he channels Pat Mahomes. But the way he scrambles and he's so elusive around the pocket, a little bit of Lamar Jackson too in there. So shout out to I picked Houston Roughnecks to win it all. So
Yeah, you did.
so if
And Tay did as well.
yeah, shout out to H Town. I'm telling you what, I think this quarterback here, he's promising and he's just gonna learn more and more each game, right? He's gonna get better,
Yeah.
and I think that he's gonna bring some excitement and some electricity to the city,
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm excited.
What were you going to say, Tay?
So what does the playoffs look like for this XFL? What is the structure?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah,
You
because since there's what, how many teams?
There's 8
There's
teams?
8 teams, so
you
you think
threw
they
me
would
for
all
a loop
make it.
there.
You think they would all make it, right? Or no?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have no idea.
You absolutely threw me for a loop, Tay, and I
So,
wasn't prepared for that one.
well, I don't know the structure how it's
I'll tell you right now.
molded,
I
but
just pulled it up.
okay.
Um, the second seed in the East is going to play the first seed in the East. The second seed in the West is going to play the first seed in the West, and then the championship game, West versus East.
So it's 2 games.
So
I mean,
it's
2 teams,
two teams from the East, 2 from the West,
and then they face off each other.
and then they'll face off in their little championship game.
When is that
Super
going to
Bowl.
be? Is there a timeline for that?
That's not until April 26th.
Oh,
The
okay.
end of April. Yeah, you threw me for a little bit of a loop there.
Well, sorry about that. So, okay. So the season is not very long then. Well,
No,
there's
you
only
got to
8
remember
teams.
they play 12 games, so
Right.
right there. I mean, the other team that we can talk about real quick is the Dallas Renegades. They won yesterday because of the guy we were talking about earlier this week, was Landry Jones.
Mhm.
Remember, we were talking about him. He was 28 for 40 with 305 yards, 1 TD. He did throw 2 picks though. But as you can see, those guys that are more experienced are excelling a little bit better in the XFL than those guys aren't. I mean, remember what I said? I said I think he's the best quarterback in the league because of his experience, because he was a backup for the Steelers for so many years.
Right.
And it showed because this was his first start. He took the team down there when he needed it most, and he even scrambled for a couple yards. I ain't gonna lie. He ran for 13 yards and barrel rolled, and they joked with him after the game, and they said, "Yeah, you probably don't want to watch those highlights, Landry, but you got it done." So, the XFL, it's growing on me a little bit.
Yeah, I have to admit it is. I don't know. I don't know the teams very well, and I don't know their stats, but it's something that I could see myself getting into.
Houston's the most exciting team from what I've seen. They're the most exciting team.
Yeah, I think they're the most exciting team also because of their fan base.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I think they probably got them. Well, if you compared, and we would have to do our research on this, but if you compared whenever they had, a home game, just fan support around, like who's, what stadium has the most fans or has the most support, when it's in their stadium. So I don't know. Houston's just a huge city. It's ranked number 3 in the nation, right?
It is.
Yeah, it is.
It's
big.
Such a big
enormous.
city. There's New York, Cali, and then there's, a state. I'm sorry, but the city as well. You got New York, Cali, and I think there's Houston. So, there's a lot of people, and just the downtime as well, and especially if Walker keeps doing what he's doing, bringing excitement to the team. I think this XFL thing could work, definitely. But here's my question for you and Tay.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about Landry and how he was, he had a pretty good game, 305, only 2 picks, but still, we don't know if those 2 picks were his fault or not. But is there a drop off though in talent? When it comes to the NFL versus the XFL, I know there's ex NFL players, but the talent drop off, because it seems like it's just so difficult for quarterbacks, backup quarterbacks in the NFL to be successful. There's not a lot of backup quarterbacks that can go into an NFL system and succeed. But when they go to another league like XFL, or if they play arena, it's like there's just a huge drop off. So how big is that drop off?
I just think I don't think it's the talent. Like Frizz said that in the XFL that he doesn't see a lot of talented quarterbacks, or that the position of a quarterback doesn't have to be as skilled as in the NFL. I think it's just that they possess more poise. They're more comfortable with being on the field. They know what it takes, even though they were like backups or ex-NFL players. They're just comfortable with it and performing in front of a huge crowd.
Yeah, I think the drop off is, I'm going to go with what Tim Tebow said the other day, and they interviewed him at Mets training camp, and they asked him if the XFL reached out to him because he's a great athlete, right? He was a quarterback, and
Right.
they said they had some communication, but he wants to stay in baseball. But what he said kind of made me say, you know what? He's right. He said, and I'm not quoting him, and I don't have it up or anything right now, but he basically said, in short, he really likes what the XFL is doing because it's given an opportunity to the guys that can't make the league. It's given
Right.
them an opportunity to still play in the game. Now, do I think personally that there's a lot of guys that can make the league that don't make the league? Absolutely. I just think that they're missing maybe one or two tools to make them an elite player in the NFL. Hence all the practice players that teams hold on throughout the year. That's why they're on the practice squad. But a lot of these players now on the XFL have been in the league, but just haven't got their shot. This could open up doors for them, if they're showing out in the XFL and if they're young enough and if an NFL team is looking for that specific piece. I think it's kind of giving them an idea of, hey, this guy can play some ball. Maybe we should give him a shot and invite him to a training camp. And I think we're going to see that.
I see it serving like a minor league or a farm system similar to baseball.
Yeah, I mean, it could.
What are the contracts like?
I was looking at that as well. The contracts aren't as high as you would think. Some of the bigger names, I believe, like Landry Jones and Jones and some of the ex guys like Dunbar and things like that. I think they're more in the $100,000 range, if you will. Maybe with some incentives or something here and there. But I think it's more around $60,000 to $80,000 maybe. I mean, it's nothing. It's nothing where you can retire off of.
So So would you rather be on a practice team in the NFL or play XFL? Because I think the practice squad gets more than that, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're blessed enough and gifted enough athletically to do that, I think that's your best option. But I think this league's going to grow from 8 teams to maybe even 10 or 12 the following year once cities start saying, hey, you know what, this is really working. This is drawing in money for our stadium, our city, because the apparel that they have, and Tay mentioned that the other day, is just, everybody in the stands has it.
They do, and they have scarves, they have hats, they have hand warmers, they have, all kinds of stuff. Like their merch is crazy.
Yeah, so I think it could do nothing but get better. And I do see maybe their contracts growing in the future.
That's
and
awesome.
To chime in a little bit on your question, Gemz, about would you rather be on a practice squad in an NFL team? I think it depends on the individual and the outlook that individual has. Because for me, if I'm on a practice squad and I'm not getting that play time, I'm not really furthering my skill set. I'm just there. If I'm looking to get to the next level to where I'm actually on the field to potentially better my salary and my skills, it's not helping me.
That's a great point.
Well, wait a minute. Let me challenge her on this. That is a good point, but I respectively disagree, because if you're on a practice squad, you're going against the top of the top each and every day. So
but you're not.
So you're around the coaching. You're around the coaches. Know your skill set. The coaches know your capabilities of what you can do and what you can't do. So if you show out and you're guarding someone like the best tight end in the NFL, Kelsey, every day on a practice squad, and then you're doing okay, they might have a spot for you. Or if someone gets hurt, they might have a spot for you. For the XFL, though, there's not a lot of tape out there.
Not yet.
No, it's not a lot of tape.
Yeah, but still, you're just in the practice squad. You're not getting the real time play. You're not getting the real time hits. Coaches can't see how you really handle that hit. How you really gonna go about it when the play is called and it doesn't go as planned. What do you do? What's plan B? How are you reacting? They're not seeing that.
And you raised a good point about the coaches, and you're not getting coached up the way you should be getting coached up, you know, in the NFL possibly, and especially since the XFL is kind of new. But the coaches for the XFL are pretty decent. Bob Stoops, Jim Zorn,
Yeah.
Mark Trestman, Kevin Gilbride, Jonathan Hayes played tight end for the Steelers back in the day, Winston Moss, these guys could get after it. They know the game.
No, I get it. The reason why
I know you didn't mean that, but
yeah.
I'm just saying.
The reason why I'm just asking these questions here because you brought up Tebow, and Tebow did have some communication, but he passed, and he's still in AAA with the Mets affiliates, etc. But my thing is like Tebow's not going to go into the XFL and play for $100,000. He's just not going to do it. It doesn't make sense to him, right?
I agree.
You know what I mean? So it's like there's more than this is more to it. Like I want the XFL to grow, and I'm not trying to be negative here, but I gotta pose these questions because we gotta talk about everything, So this is what people want to know. The drop off of talent. Is there the same type of talent? What are the contracts looking like?
Well, in short, to answer that question, no, the talent's not there like it is in the NFL. It's not. You're just they're looking at a handful of guys that could maybe still be on an NFL team. Right. Maybe Eli Rogers, the receiver for DC. Ex-Steeler. He arguably they said the Steelers shouldn't have cut him. But
right.
Or Landry Jones, could he still be a backup in the league? Probably. And
he could.
Use them?
He can.
Absolutely. I think they could have used them over, who they had. So
what if Pittsburgh still had him during the season? Some of those games,
it might be a little different.
It was a little different, right? Yeah. I just, it's mind-boggling. We won't get into all that, but these are the type of questions, these are the type of things that people want to know. But one thing I do agree with you, Frizz and Tay, and I agree with Tebow, a lot of these players will not go to the NFL. They're not going to go. And a lot of these players love football, and this is another job opportunity. The XFL, salute to them, shout out to them, because they're giving out just more jobs out there, right?
Yeah.
So shout out to them. Yeah,
and they're playing a game that they love.
They're providing an opportunity for people out there that want to continue or to get a foot in the door. So,
and before we move on to our next topic, 0.14% of all college athletes make the NFL.
That's low.
0.14%.
That's nothing. That's barely walking through the door.
0.14. And remember, you're only looking at about probably 400 kids going to the combine, give or take. So
that's a very small number.
You have
teams together
to really ball out.
So out of 400, how many get selected to go to the NFL? Do that math. It's just so. It's like what? It's
very
nothing.
many.
It's barely. But yeah,
about 225 kids will get drafted in the NFL.
Almost half.
Yeah, and will they make a team?
That's
another cut too. Yeah,
they're not guaranteed to make the roster.
At the end of the day, shout out to the XFL. You're creating jobs.
Shout out to the XFL.
Absolutely. XFL.
NBA All-Star action yesterday. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Team LeBron, 157. Team Giannis, 155. The fourth quarter was awesome to watch, if you ask me. You sat here and they were actually playing defense. They were taking charges. This went off from the old, I wouldn't say old, but the old All-Star, where they kind of just laid back, let you go, let you drive. They were D'ing it up there at the end. And it got kind of heated. I liked it. They were arguing. They were battling for the ball. They were on the floor. was exciting to watch. It was kind of cool with the thing. They had to get the 157 because of the way that they did it. Right, that was the target score because they tied it up in that third at 41-41. They both had 41 in the third quarter. So did you like the competitiveness of that, Gemz?
You know what? Not just the All-Star game, but I like the NBA All-Star weekend, the whole weekend. I think that the tributes for Kobe Bryant was sensational, and his daughter was amazing. I just think that Kobe Bryant's spirit was with these guys, right? All
Mm-hmm.
weekend.
Yeah, I think
And,
so too.
I have to agree.
yeah, so it's like this was the love of basketball. Kobe represented the love of basketball, and that's these guys showed out. They did a tremendous job this weekend, and I don't know. I think I don't know where it's at next year, but hopefully that stadium seats could be present. Next year the NBA All Star Weekend
Ooh.
because it was
Man, that'd be
it
awesome.
was great to watch. Great to watch.
Yeah, it was a little different.
I'm in. I'm definitely in. Count me in.
So you mentioned Kobe Bryant and Kawhi Leonard. He was the first recipient for the MVP, the Kobe Bryant MVP award. He sounded pretty humble, because he worked out with Kobe a lot. So, shout out to him. He had 30 on the night. He was 11 for 18 from the field. And when they interviewed him, he looked very happy and very humble, because that's a heck of an award. Because they just named this the MVP award. So shout out to Leonard winning that one.
He was my pick
Man,
for the Kobe Bryant MVP award.
Especially, yeah. Especially shout out to the Kawhi, and especially he's from Southern California, number one. And he used to come out, I believe he used to come out to the Mamba Academy and work out with Kobe, him and Kyrie. So those guys were close.
Aww.
So I know it's like a special moment for Kawhi winning that award. And I know that, after the game when they were interviewing him, he was just like, he couldn't explain how happy he is to have a trophy in his room, an MVP trophy that's named after Kobe Bryant. And you wake up every day and you see Kobe Bryant's name. And that's just special. Again, that's just the spirit of Kobe Bryant being with everybody, especially in the basketball world. So shout out to Kawhi and shout out to the NBA doing great things right now.
Yeah, definitely. And it was a great All-Star weekend, like you said. Hopefully next year they add a few more guys to the dunk championship because 4 wasn't enough, man. And then
okay, that was ridiculous. I honestly think that was ridiculous. I mean, shame on the dunk contest people.
And Gordon got robbed. I'm sorry.
He did get robbed.
He got robbed.
You know what? I think they were both awesome. They're both amazing. Very talented, but he did not completely jump over Taco. He sat on his shoulders.
He's 7'5".
Well, then don't get him. 7'5". That's why somebody else got Tyler, the Creator, because he's short.
I'm just saying. I mean, he did dunk it though. Shoulders or not,
he did.
He was like 95%.
I think it was Chance the Rapper, but same thing.
Oh, there you go. I'm sorry.
They're
Tyler,
both
the Creator.
short.
Yeah, he's tall. Chance the Rapper, absolutely. He's short. That's why they got him, because they knew they could clear him.
Yeah, but
but regardless, you're still jumping over people. I mean, you're a pretty good athlete if you're jumping over people. I mean, good Lord.
Like I said, I think they're both amazing. All right.
No, I'm just giving them a shout. Don't worry. Keep talking. Do your thing.
Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody.
City Spotlight. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Stand up. Where you at? All right, on the show, we're going to start spotlighting different cities, sports teams, things like that. We talked about Houston, right? Last show. Today we move on to Pittsburgh, PA, my hometown, Gemz' hometown. Tay's been there.
I've been there twice.
She's been there twice.
The city of bridges.
The city of bridges. There you go. So you have the Steelers, the Penguins, the Pirates, the big time teams. Unfortunately, we don't have an NBA team. You got the Pittsburgh Panthers. You got the Duquesne Dukes. Okay, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, the soccer squad. Okay, that plays over there by Station Square. Am I missing anything, Gemz?
No. You're good right now. Keep going. You're good.
Okay. The thing that I like most about the city of Pittsburgh, obviously, is their tradition, in football and hockey, and used to be baseball back in the day, but that's long gone. Is the color scheme for each professional team is black and gold.
I really like that.
The baseball team, the hockey team, the football team, everything is black and gold, which is very rare. Okay. It's very rare as you go into different cities. And I think that right there makes that city, what's the word I'm looking for? Makes it united. Good, Tay. Yeah. That's a good one. It makes it a little bit more united in a way because you can be rocking your Steeler jersey at a Penguin game. You could be rocking your Penguin jersey at a Pirate game. You can rock your Pirate hat anywhere, and I definitely love that about my city. And I just wanted to give that quick shout out. Any quick shout outs, Gemz, on the city of Pittsburgh before we talk about where you can go to eat and have a good time?
We talking about food. We could talk about that all day. But I just know this, Pittsburgh, a lot of people don't know this about Pittsburgh, but we have some really, really good food in Pittsburgh.
Unbelievable.
And we have pockets of different areas in the city. So if you want fresh cheese and fresh meats and stuff like that, you go down to the Strip District. You want fine dining, you go downtown. All the steakhouses are right by each other. You want to go different restaurants of like a blocks of restaurants. You're going over there to Butler Street, over there to Lawrenceville. That's really growing area there. This all changed. I mean, it's just it's packed every night, and it's just the camaraderie of the city, of different restaurants. A lot of young people are moving in, and Pittsburgh is just a good cost of living. It's just a great city to be in, especially the sports team is too. Besides the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's kind of a small market team, but our small market teams are always successful, right? So when it comes to sports, it's great. Food, great. People is great. It's a blue collar city. It's about hard work, going to work every day, making the best living that you can. And, it's about family too and community. So a lot of great things about the city of Pittsburgh that, I'm proud to be a part of. But now we're talking about food here, right? Really quick. Now we all know Chrissy Teigen, right? That's John Legend's wife, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this was months ago, but I'm just talking about the food. She's a foodie, and she goes to different cities, and she'll go to restaurants, and then she'll throw something out there on her social media platform. And I tell you what, she was at Driftwood Kitchen, and it's a pizza place on Butler Street. And she gave it a shout out, and she was talking just very, very positive about Pittsburgh. And to have someone of her celebrity, her level, her status come to Pittsburgh and really embrace, the food there and what the city has to offer, it was just great to hear, and I felt really good about that. So I just want to say just about the food, because a lot of people think, oh, well, it's nothing but bridges. Only thing there is Pittsburgh Steelers and the Pens and the Pirates. They stink, but there's just a lot of more to the city of Pittsburgh. So
that's awesome. Yeah, and you mentioned in food, the first time I ever took Tay up to Pittsburgh to go travel to a Pittsburgh Steelers game, I had to take her to the most famous sandwich shop in Pittsburgh. I have to shout them out, Permane Brothers. Shout out to Permane Brothers. If you go to Pittsburgh, you got to get a Permane sandwich. Listeners, if you have never been, it's Italian bread with your choice of meat, cheese, but they add fries and fresh coleslaw. They call it grass on the side or grass on the sandwich. You throw it on there, you put some hot sauce on there, and you tear it up. The sandwich is huge. It's awesome. Rich tradition, growing, and you get yourself an Iron City beer or an Icy Light beer brewery in Pittsburgh. Tastes like probably goat piss, but it's actually really good and refreshing.
Okay, let me stop you right there because a lot of people told me that. What is Icy Light? They probably told me it's the worst beer you're ever going to have. It's the bleepiest beer ever that you're ever going to taste. I guess I must be a bleep person because I really liked it. I really did.
That's what's up. I like it. I mean, it's cheap, right, Gemz?
I mean, there are
I don't know how much
people.
it is, but it was good.
There are people in the city that drink it and buy it. I mean, everybody got their taste for it. So,
And about that permane sandwich, two things. First of all, I noticed that everybody called it a sandwich instead of a sandwich.
Yeah, go in downtown and go to Permanis and get a sandwich.
A sandwich.
Sandwich.
Okay, that was kind of awkward. But number two, how do y'all even eat that thing? It's
Smash
so
it
big.
down.
I crushed it like with my hand, like pushed on it down.
Listeners, Tay's small and she's 5'2", so she don't have much strength.
Well, I
It's
got
all
a lot
good.
of strength.
Yeah.
I'm 5'1", by the
Okay,
way.
one other thing about our city spotlight, and then I'll let Tay give her biggest thing in the city where she's been around. Mount Washington. Go up to Mount Washington, see the city, especially at night. And then, it's just so amazing how they light up the city. And you can stand out on a platform out there and take some pictures or whatever. Just go up there on a wintry night, when it's kind of cool, and just breathe in the crisp, fresh air and just admire the city of Pittsburgh because it is a beautiful city.
It is.
Well, I don't have much to add because I've only been up there twice, but I have to say that both times was very, very nice, very pleasant. The people are really nice. One thing that I did notice is that there's not a lot of Hispanic people around there.
True.
So, and we went to a lot of places. We went to a hockey game. We went to a football game, tailgating to tons of restaurants, tons of bars, tons of stores, malls and whatnot. I didn't see a lot of Hispanic people around.
It's all good.
It's
We
not
growing.
a bad thing.
We growing.
Exactly. It's not a bad
growing.
thing. It's just the location. I mean, you're way up there in the Northeast, so it's different than Texas. But everybody was super nice. I'm still kind of upset, and nothing anybody did. It's just nature. I went up there expecting to see snow. So both times that I've gone in the winter, and I've yet to see snow.
Well,
So
it does still snow in Pittsburgh.
it's not when I'm there.
Yeah, you just
Absolutely.
it definitely snows in Pittsburgh. But you know what? I do want to. I know we're talking about Pittsburgh, but I do want to talk more about Houston. Maybe in the next episode coming up this week, because we just touched the surface about Houston, but we need to revisit that if that's okay. Because I got some questions.
There's a lot of stuff about Houston you can talk about, and the Houston Rodeo is coming up next month, so that's like a whole topic in itself.
Here we go.
And actually, Tay's favorite singer, Lizzo, is going to be performing over there.
Okay.
Lizzo.
Shout out to
I ain't
Lizzo.
mad at you. I
Remember
ain't mad at you, girl.
a couple months ago,
Just keep that butt tight.
Tay
Tightly wrapped up when it's a
Lizzo
family
on the
event.
show. So,
It's all good, Lizzo. Shout out to Lizzo.
any word before we get out of here on Newman? Any word on Newman? Anybody here?
No, I've been following up on all media platforms. There's no update on him. It's kind of concerning, but I will say what's more important than trying to find out if he's good or not, I respect the family and respect the sport. All these media outlets always want to be the first ones to report, for ratings or whatnot. They want to say, oh, we reported it first. Please respect the family, more than anything. eventually something will come out.
No doubt.
No doubt.
Well, prayers up. Stadium Seats is giving prayers and thoughts. And hit us up at Seat Stadium on our Twitter. StadiumSeatsPodcast@gmail.com. You can email us questions. We haven't heard from you fans in a while. We need to hear from you. I've been tweeting it out. What do we need to talk about on the show? We can
talk about me.
The city spotlight is now in effect. Looking for our next city
going on
to spotlight. We're trying to shout us out your city. Let us know. We'll shout it out. We'll talk about it a little bit. Let us know where you can go eat.
Throw this out on Twitter, Frizz, real quick before we go. Whatever city that we in next, that we talk about next, I want the best food spot and I want the best lounge where I could go, listen to some good music, maybe have a cocktail or something. Let me know.
No doubt.
Let me know.
Frizz, Gemz, Tay. Shout out Pittsburgh City Spotlight. Southside, go get your drink on. We're out of here.
Peace.
Gemz.
Hey, Stadium Seats. We're the best in the world. We're the best in podcasting. Yo, Gemz, let them know.
Red bottom tape, Frizz on the way. Gemz on the mic, and you know he don't play. Every seat packed, the fans go cray. Stream after stream, now what they gon' say. Frizz on the beat, Tay brings the heat. Stadium Seats without Gemz ain't complete. The tailgate crazy, the fans they amaze me. Salute to all the fans that been rockin' with us lately. Love.
Stadium Seats. Frizz, Gemz, Tay. We the best.